Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Barbara, will we call?
Mayor Steve Feldman.
Here.
Councilmember Kevin Robinson.
Here.
Joel Milbaugh.
Here.
Robert Collins.
Here.
Sarah Ike. Here.
Okay, moving on. All right, do I have a motion tonight to adopt tonight's agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Newbar makes that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Bauer makes a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, I'm going to pull out one item off the consent agenda just for some clarification from our police chief. That's for the 2020 squad purchase update and amendment. Other than that, all the other things are in play. So I have a motion tonight to adopt tonight's consent agenda without item H.
I'll make that motion.
Councilor Bauer makes that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilor Ludwig makes a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Just a couple of questions here on that that I have. Let me see if I go to. Okay, the questions I have, Todd, are this. It's a 2016 we're trading in. How many miles are on that?
There will be approximately 8,000.
Okay, so it's under 100,000. Good trade value. Are you pretty confident, because the difference between the two vehicles is about $4,843?
Correct.
So are you pretty confident that you can get that amount?
Yes, I'm very confident. In recent years, our trade-in values have actually gone up. So like I said in the report, we get anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000 for a Charger. Now, we never used to get that much, so I don't know if it's just a change in personnel down there at Dr. Burkeville or what, but trade-in values have been very good and consistent.
And when you trade it out, when it trades in, does it go to another department someplace, or does this go down the family?
From there, I guess I believe they send it to auction and probably get it auctioned off. I'm not exactly sure where it goes.
Okay, then my next question is, if you don't get the 4843, you have it in your budget to still cover it?
Yes, it would be very close, very close. And we can always probably make up the difference from somewhere else in the budget to set the safety investment. So.
Right, that's my main concern. I have no problem with the vehicle itself, other than the fact that you don't go into deficit to get it.
No, we won't go into deficit. Like I said, outside of CIP, if that's what it took, we didn't get a trading value for whatever reason we were expecting. I'm confident that we could make a decent budget work to cover the cost.
Okay, and you see a real need for this type of vehicle then?
I do, and you know, it's going to be a pursuit-rated SUV. It's going to be made for patrol type work. Our last one wasn't. That's why we took it off of our
Tahoe?
fleet. The Tahoe, yeah. So it'll be safe. It'll be used for what it's meant to be used for.
So it'll have multi-purpose use versus what the Tahoe.
Correct.
All right, that pretty much answered my questions. Council, do you have any questions on this at all?
I just had one. We talked about, for bigger items that were confiscated or whatnot. So my biggest concern was if this is going to be someone's take-home vehicle or something like that, it won't be in the city, or do you guys leave the vehicles here at the?
It'll be a marked squad car. It'll sit in our garage when it's not being used on shift, just like all of our.
Okay.
Yep.
Kevin?
No, sir, I have no further questions.
Sarah? Robbie, answer your questions?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Now, do I have a motion to accept item H of the consent agenda for tonight? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Councilor Irwin makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Councilor Robinson makes a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Meeting open to the public. Fire, do we have anybody?
Yes, Dallas, one.
So, I was here last
Name
week.
and address, by the way.
What's that?
Name and
Oh,
address.
yeah, first name Dallas, last name Munn, address is 4461, 236 Lane Northwest. Reason I'm here, I have actually received quite a few different fines now from the city of St. Francis for multiple different things. One of them being I have a demolition derby vehicle that was sitting in my driveway. I have now just received the latest one today when I got home from work. It is now gone. It's no longer on my premises. My concern with it is, though, I do demolition derbies. That's a thing. I had, this vehicle specifically, I had thousands of dollars into this thing. Hours, fun hours of build time into this thing. I had to literally give it away finds that. My only option with having a vehicle was to put it into my garage. I was not allowed to put it outside of my house and next to my garage because there's not enough storage space there. I was not allowed to keep it in the driveway because there was no glass in it. So putting my garage, I had other things in there. There was no space for it. That's why I sat in the driveway for as long as it did. It's now done, but moving forward, I need to know what can I do. I mean, am I just not allowed to derby anymore? Do I have to designate my garage to my derby vehicle from now on moving forward? Because I can't put it outside. I can't put it outside of my house. And on top of that, now I have another picture too where they're going after a trailer that I have stored inside my car trailer. Granted, I only have 5 feet there, but the neighbor to the left of me is perfectly fine with it sitting there. We've talked it over with him. He said, I don't care if it sits there, so I'm not seeing any issues with it sitting there, but I'm still getting photos taken of it sent to me and concerns on that. So where would you guys want my car trailer on top of that? So
Kate, tell us what the ordinance is reading.
Mayor and council, so the derby car was against city ordinance. Our ordinance reads it needs to be operable, it needs to be licensed, it needs to be registered. And operable meaning street operable, with the glass out of it, you know, and it's in disrepair, it didn't meet those codes. Storage options, I know it was discussed to put it in the garage, try to get it out of the garage. When Dallas was in one day, we talked about tarps, we talked about other ways and means of maybe not having it sitting in the garage. But overall, with city code, he has been finding in accordance with such, so.
Can you put it on a trailer of some sort, cover it that way, or no?
You have to have an approved surface,
Blue surface?
It would have to be on an approved surface. I think the one piece, if I'm not mistaken, is the property line on the garage side is too close to pave because the driveway standards require the 3 feet distance. So there's some positioning with the setbacks, there's pavement, and then there's the derby car. So right now, his option is that driveway.
What about the back of the garage?
We would have, as far as paving it and creating a parking surface, and that's something that can be reviewed.
there's no
Without,
way to it though. With the 5 feet there, there's no way to make a full size surface. I'm going to the right side, which means I'd come to my entire yard and go around the whole back of the house to get to it without making the easement.
I'm trying to give you a solution.
I know,
Perfection doesn't exist in this world today.
Yeah.
Is the garage on the back flat?
There is a slab of concrete back there currently, a small place, but there was a hot tub back there, so there already is a slab of some form of concrete there, but not anything big enough to put a full-size vehicle on.
Put a garage door and right through the back of the garage onto the pad?
I'd have to extend the pad out past there, but I've then run into the issue of the 220 wire that's in there, so I have to rewire the whole back corner as well. I guess it's doable, but is that really my only option is to build up and redo?
Well, see, there's slab on your yard, I mean, you could, can you also butt pavers to the slab? Does he have to go slab, or can you put pavers on it?
we can do pavers as long as it is the entire size of the automobile that is parked on it. So it can be pavers, it can be concrete, it can be bituminous.
Okay. Well, there's some options there.
So basically make a road around my whole yard, feed in the back, and drive to.
Well, if you want that vehicle, it sounds like to me that's what you're gonna have to do. I mean, like I say, there's no perfection in this world. By the way, I also want to tell you while you're here, that this council will be having a work session coming up in December. One of the items on that work session will be discussion of this racetrack of yours. We are doing some research into that right now. I reached out to Gary, told him about it. I hope he's been a little peaceful with that. So I told him to be patient, and I'm telling you to be patient. Council will get the facts together, go to a work session, and then we'll get a hold of you to let you know what our outcome is.
And the work session is, you are welcome to come to
It's
the work
open to the
session.
public, you can come. You'll be notified.
Okay.
Just let you know, we're not giving up on that topic.
Okay.
We're looking into it too.
My last concern with the fines as well, the first one when I first reached out, I wasn't sure as to why I was being fined, and then called in, or actually went into City Hall and getting answers there, and was told somebody was gonna get a hold of me, and I waited like a week and a half, and never heard from her, and called it again, and by then I had another fine already in my mailbox before I knew what I was doing wrong at that point.
Well, Jody, you're here. Can you step up to the mic and tell us how you do that?
Okay. What was that now?
When I first called in, so I went in and spoke with her on it, and then it was told that you would reach out to me, and I was like, a week, but a half went by, and they called it.
I don't think it was a week and a half, but I won't argue with you on it. I was out of town. And so when I came back into town, I think it was the Tuesday we talked.
Yep.
So it wasn't Monday, but I was out that week, and so
No, it's following.
the following Tuesday.
Or Tuesday.
back to you. Yep, yep, but I had told you.
Yeah, she told that to me on that Thursday.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
so, but we're closed Friday. And I'm back in the town on Monday, yeah. So, yeah, and you did call and I think we had talked and I said I was going to talk to you on that. Or I didn't know, but anyway, yeah. But we talked that day and I told you about the Derby car.
So what's the total fines right now?
For the truck, I had 1,800. For a trailer from way back when in my backyard was like 200. So I got $2,000 right now in fines.
So the trailer's on the side of the garage, as we were talking about. The Derby car cannot be outside at all. That has to be in an enclosed building. You can't even have pavers put on because it's not.
Closed.
It's considered inoperable. Yeah. Can't put it in the back of the garage. He can put the trailer back there. It's a full-size car trailer. And so, yeah, 20.
Well, I mean,
so
what if
And
you,
if he doesn't park it, he needs to use
I mean,
it.
you could build a shed type of thing off your garage in the
Yeah.
back. You could also, what about a lean-to type of thing like that off the garage with a roof on it, you know, canvas
Well,
roof?
this
type of thing?
garage is really
There's only
close to
5 feet from the edge of my
feet.
garage to the property line. With a main half-wide trailer, you're not losing.
That's in the back of your garage, the property line is only 5 feet?
From the side of my garage to the
I'm
property.
talking about the very back of your garage.
Well, the back of my garage,
Yeah, the back.
I guess we could use the back. They don't
Yeah,
really-
so he's got a well up front as well, so he'd have to, we were looking at ideas to get even. he
But
could
you
do a
still can make
500
access to your well.
500 square foot shed
You still can
in
have
the garage
access to your
back.
well. I mean, I've done it before. You still can have access to the well.
Yeah, yeah, it's just getting the driveway going around to that, because we.
I mean, you're gonna have to, if you want these toys of yours, you're gonna have to make some adjustment for the city code. Because we can't, like I stated before, in the last meeting with you, we can't change the code just for Gary, we can't change the law for just you either.
I'm not.
No, and I know you're not asking for it, but I'm saying to you, I'm trying to be as reasonable as the council can be on this, but I mean,
And we've tried to work, he's been great to, communicate with, we've been going through some code issues before too. And he did great moving the trailers, he had a Jeep in the back or some kind of another one. So he's done really well, but he's just, the shape of he's got an irregular lot.
yeah.
Where his house is placed very close to the road. And it's just, he's got.
I got an idea,
He's
if you want to
got
raise
an
that
acre
for a
lot,
barn.
so, yeah. So
I
he's
don't want to
got-
live on me, but.
Yeah, so I told him the only thing you can do is basically build a 500 square foot shed and, figure out how to get a driveway around to it, so.
Yeah, because on an acre lot,
Have you
you
even got room on the sides to do that?
I think get an even on the road, not about.
Yeah.
On the road.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily need an easement, you would.
It's on your
Good luck at
But,
that.
that's all, yeah, it's all additional cost, but.
Better
The
go to
trailer-
county before you invest in it.
Yeah, yeah, if you could put the trailer in the driveway where that Derby car was, you'd be fine. Where the Derby car was?
Yeah, but that's what we're gonna have to, at this point, we're gonna go over the top in the future, I mean, we're gonna, so we'll leave my third solid.
Yeah, it's a shame that you only have 5 feet between the property line and the side of the garage, that really stinks. All right, well, listen, about the fines, do we wait till abatement time to have them question those, or how do we do that?
Mayor, council, at this point, I guess, is tonight a question of reducing the fine? Jody, did that one that went out today, was it $2?
It's the same one, yeah, so
Okay.
I mail one and then I do one certified.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you'll also receive that same notice and it's
I
certified?
think you got it today.
Yeah, I just got one, we got this one.
This is the one that just went. out.
Okay, so as far as fines, I mean, is this a formal request to reduce fines? This isn't open to public, so I think this is where you have the opportunity to hear it if you want us to do any more research or if you would like more information, but
I think Darcy may have certified those down to the county.
How long is this one?
Well, this would be new, so this one needs an extra, yeah.
She hasn't had it.
So if it's been since September, that's when I pulled the admin citations to be certified. When you say it's a newer one,
So in the pamphlet that goes out with this, he has the option within 10 days to appeal the citation. And that's a formal process. So if he wants to appeal the citation, he can.
All right, so where are we right now?
So I encourage
The
you
demolition
to-
car is gone, right?
Yeah, it left.
And the trailer, where's that?
It's gonna be in the third stall when we get home. I literally got home from work, came right here, so.
Okay. So has he complied with
The new one just he received today, the next inspection is set up for, the 21st.
This
So
Thursday.
when we go and inspect it, the 22nd, 21st, 22nd, if it's gone, these just go, you know, these obviously have been, he's been cited because there were violations.
All right, so if on the 21st you go there and you,
And it's gone, we don't erase the previous citations, he just won't get another one.
okay, so what will that put them at a dollar amount?
What did?
$800 for the truck and then $200 for the old community building. So still have the 2,000.
I would appeal within 10 days or whatever you're supposed to do there to begin with, to just follow that process.
And this is your $1,000 one.
Yeah, that's $1,000.
So you have the right to appeal that, and that pamphlet I sent you, that's got an appeal in it. And read the print below it, it's the administrative.
Oh,
And then come springtime, Dallas, I would come in and talk to Phil, our building official, and see what you can do to build yourself something that will be code compliant. And then see what we can do. Does that sound right? Well, that's the easiest way. I keep telling people every meeting, call us, talk to us, work with us, and help us service you better. So that's the way.
And we've talked, it's
Yeah.
just, he's got an.
Irregular shaped lot.
Regular shaped lot.
And yeah, it's hard to make goal on.
And he lives in a rural resident, or in an R2. Across the street is A, agriculture, and rural residential. So he's got a 1 acre lot, but it's a city
Well,
lot.
I think unfortunately, I think your hobbies are too big for your lot size.
And he thought it was more rural where he was going. He really did.
Hanover had no issues, Blaine had no issues, and how many years?
Different strokes, different cities, that's the way it usually works in that. But yeah, like I say, again, if I was you, I'd come back and talk to Phil, which is a very workable person, or a building official, and see what you can do with that garage on extension or shed type of thing like that, and
Yeah,
close
that's
it.
gonna do a lot.
Which would be better for your vehicle anyways, and close it for the winter.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, it's something you're gonna have to do, and
I'm just wondering, I mean, if he's at an $1,800 fine for the truck, that's more than, I mean, has he gotten more than one notification?
accumulated.
So they've accumulated, so when was his first notice sent to him that there was a, so I understand, because I'm like, 18, well.
10/10/19 was the first one. The truck had been sitting there since June and had no issue with it.
So I
And it didn't move the
know.
whole time it sat there, and then all of a sudden in the last month I've gotten,
Well, we received a call, so we don't know about it. We
Right.
don't go patrolling by ourselves.
Well, right,
So-
yeah. I
Yeah,
was-
so, yeah.
Right.
So you.
I was just curious if it had gone, you know, if it's 6 months and we're at $1,800 for the truck.
No,
but We're
yeah.
looking at, you know, a month, and I just was trying to.
the truck is gone,
understand.
the demo cars, demolition derby car's gone, the trailer's the only thing there.
yeah, and the shed will be moved in
I would take Councilmember Muehlbauer's advice and appeal it, if I was you, in the process. And then reach out and see what Phil can discuss with you on building a 500 square foot shed, which would be very good for you anyway.
Yeah.
You know, give you more space and more enclosed area and protect your vehicles.
And I would think the cheapest route is to put a garage door on the backside of your garage, go right to the center, into your new, you know, just talk to the building official. I think that might be the easiest route, than, like you said,
Yeah,
making around.
I put the AC unit though, sitting right there behind the house, might cause an issue.
Might have to move it. That's the easiest
Yeah.
thing.
Well, you'll weigh out dollars, cost and benefit, you'll weigh it out, see what you can afford and do like that. But I mean, it's sad it's on a very good shaped lot, but you can make the most of it if you do it right, so.
Yeah.
And once again, we'll reach out with you on the work session time coming up, so
Okay.
that issue's still in play. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. All right, anybody else from the open public part?
No.
All right, now we're gonna move on to, old business, nuisance abatement, Smith/Oriskey, 22708 Rum River Boulevard, resolution 2019-52.
Mayor and council, we had Carol Kurth here from DGS, Dave Shasta.
Karen Council, the property at 22,708 Rum River has been a problem for.
She might have to speak up, it's gonna be, recording might be very bad. Yeah.
I can say it.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Sorry about that.
More so for the viewing public.
No problem.
Thank you.
Is that better? This property's been a problem property for quite a number of years. Specifically, a little bit of background here. There fire at this property in 2012. It's not like a house burned down. There wasn't really structural damage. It was mostly smoke and water damage to the property. And the property owner had insurance coverage, got a scope of work from a contractor to come fix the house. And that's where the problem started. When the contractor came in, this is a pretty old house, I understand it goes back maybe to the 1800s. So back in the days where it had lath and plaster, so rather than drywall. When the insurance company came in, when the contractor came in to start the work, they took it down, they removed the lath and plaster. And so that left the framing exposed, and it also appears, according to our engineer, Mr. Soderlin, that it compromised some of the structural integrity. And this goes back, I think, to when Andy Schrader was here. They took a look and said, well, you're going to need to do some fixing here. We're not going to pass it. And the property owners really got into a fight with the insurance company about what they were going to pay for. And it went through litigation, through the process, and the insurance company was successful. So the property wasn't fixed. My understanding, and from the photographs in the report, is that it remains. The first report was in 2012, and it was tagged at 2013, I think. It was actually tagged as uninhabitable at that time, and has remained that way ever since. We had the same engineer take a look last October, so about a year ago, and his opinion was it's in pretty much the same condition it was in before, except there's just a lot of clutter, a lot of stuff in it. I'm sure it's being stored. I used to store personal property, I'm sure, after the fire. There's also a problem with some of the accessory structures. There are two garages here. One's a bigger garage, and the other one's just a small single-stall garage. But one of the persistent problems here has been the house is uninhabitable, and there's been a lot of evidence of the homeowners, at least Mr. Smith, taking up residence in the garage, which isn't okay. You know, there's electricity, there's no plumbing. There's been, at times, there's been a porta potty by the garage, so we've got somebody living somewhere where they can't live, and a house that's uninhabitable. So last October, both the larger garage and the house were again re-tagged as uninhabitable. And the goal was to work with the property owners to get some resolution here. It needs to be fixed. It is fixable. The engineer says it's fixable. Probably at a price tag that's not doesn't mean it needs to be torn down, but you know as to whether that's a price tag that the homeowner, the property owner can afford. We don't know the answer to that question. But what we do know is that the property owners have not availed themselves of what's been a pretty generous offer from the city to come in, give us your application for the building permit. Here's what you need to do. Let's get a time frame and get it done and get it fixed. And my understanding, Kate, is that there's been no communication since the search warrant, I think, the administrative search warrant.
So our last communication was in May.
Okay. Of this year?
Yes, he did speak with the building official and was informed in regards to what permits were required, but we have not heard back from him since that time.
So at this point, lack of communication, the options here are you got to deal with a hazardous building. The conditions need to be remediated so it's not a hazardous building, and it's inhabitable. That's what needs to happen. So the question becomes, what do you need to do? And the engineering report is, both of them are pretty specific, but what needs to be done for the structural components, so that the structural components need to be formed up. There's a little bit of work on the foundation that's a little bit troubling. And then, of course, the electrical, mechanical, plumbing needs to be up to code so that it's inhabitable, so somebody can live there. You know, as to How much of the rest of it needs to be done? Does every, does a painting need to be done inside? Of course not. But it needs to get off the hazardous, out of the hazardous buildings. And it's hazardous for a number of reasons, not just because the structural integrity possibly makes it unsafe. It's hazardous just because it's dilapidated. There's just a ton of stuff in there, just a lot of clutter, and some of the storage of the materials, like, when you like to tell people what they can store in their home, it's concerning when there's propane tanks and gas cans and fiberglass and tires even in the house and the garage structure. And to back up a little bit, that third little garage is just dilapidated. The windows are boarded up. That just probably needs to come down. I don't know that they're using it any manner at all. So tonight I think you're going to consider a resolution that was in your packet as to what would you do with this property, and would you like me to go through the resolution, or have you all heard that?
No, I think council's read everything, have you not? I mean, being a contractor, I've looked at every picture on this thing in the packet here. 2/3 of our packet was on this property. This was brought to my attention in the last campaign season when I walked around the neighborhood around there, and people are very concerned about this property. This property is just another fire waiting to happen, that I can see right now. But I'll read something here on page 77 of our packet, council. It says here, the insurance company, Barb, you can get this from the packet. The insurance company proposed a restoration plan to remove the plaster and lath, treat the framing, and install gypsum wallboard. After the structure settled and shifted without the support of the plaster and lath, the insurance company was not willing to fund structural repairs, which resulted in a lawsuit and a trial that was held in September 2014, which Mr. Smith did not prevail in that trial, as you mentioned. And it also says here the scope of restoration, including foundation repair and structural repairs beyond the capability of those homeowners. I can tell you as a contractor, 2018 codes are going to be coming in next year. This will make even more of a headache for him, as we're in the 12 to 15 codes right now. The 18 codes will probably be more specific on what he'll have to do. The amount of money he'll have to put in here to resave these buildings, he can't afford it. I don't believe he can afford it. Plus the work I've seen on there with the foundation, the mortar, everything he's done is done the most Mickey Mouse work I've ever seen. There's no headers around the windows, no headers on the doors. Joists are notched and not on single flat plates and not double plates. They're not this way on a header. They're this way flat, which you can't do. Spans are wrong. Everything I've seen, everything I've looked at tells me that this building is just another accident waiting to happen. So my concern, council, is this. If we give this guy more time after 7 years, will we get any result in 7 more years down the road? I doubt it. Second of all, we have a responsibility to the neighbors around that area to protect them from a fire that could be outrageous. We're lucky the first time. I could see him living in the big garage while he remodels the house. The third garage, the little small garage is wrong. The propane empty tank there is wrong. The on-site potty is wrong. The RV dumping into waste, whether Paul's coming into our waste system or not, I don't know. I don't want to know, really. But I will say to you that if I was him, I would demo everything and sell that 2-acre lot. See if you could divide it into 2 1-acre lots. It's 1.99 acres as I checked the tape. I would see about subdividing, make some money off selling land, and move on. That's what I would do. But I can't see in my own recommendation to the council, and I'll get, of course, your opinions, but I can't see we're giving this guy any more time after 7 years will do us or the residents around him any good, in my opinion. So I'm for raising the building. So, Kevin, I'll turn this over to you and see what you say.
Well, I guess my first comment is no communication with the current owners is a real problem for me. Ignoring the problem, it doesn't go away. If the city is, if we do vote to go through with this, the cost is on us then for the demolition, and then
to the property.
Pass on the property through the taxes. Okay, then the property owner still owns a lot, but then there's a large assessment against the property then, correct? And
we do the work he pays for.
Okay. Yeah, 7 years is a long time. I know, things involve families and people and things get out of control. But the part of no communication is a big deal. Whether there's, circumstances that we don't know about. I mean, even in private, these individuals could have come to the city with the confidence, knowing that, we don't make a big deal about outside affairs, but this could have been addressed in some fashion. I agree wholeheartedly. We dealt with another property on the corner of our town here not too long ago that stayed in a similar situation for a long, long time, and it drew nothing but trouble and harm and grief. everyone came near it. But it's a problem. It's a real problem after this long a time. And again, nobody's here tonight. It seems to be representing the situation again. So I think it's obvious what needs to be done.
Just one thing for council, by the way, this house was built in 1890, so it's 129 years old. And the stuff that's being stored in there is just combustible stuff that can cause a fire. So we've been lucky so far. That's my concern, is the residents around. Joe, what do you have to say?
I have to agree with the two of you guys. I think it sucks when you have to get involved in private affairs like this as far as private property and whatnot. I think that the hazardous condition is the biggest concern. My question was going to be that kind of with the taxes and whatnot. So where I see this going, and this is all hypothetical, I guess, but you tear it down and don't pay the taxes necessarily, we end up with the property through, or does the county end up with the property, or if they don't pay their taxes?
Correct, Mayor and Council, the county would do a tax forfeiture.
Okay, then they'd receive it. That's
We'll get it one way or the other, it's just we'll take longer to do.
Yeah, I was just curious how that was gonna work with the property owner, because if, that's more my concern, is that they're already facing an unfortunate situation, and then granted, they haven't done anything to better that situation either, so.
Kevin? Rod?
I hate the fact of a house that was built that many years ago is in such disrepair. Because I know that a lot of residents wanted to keep the church on the corner because it was, so old. But I just don't think that this property is going to be repaired. I just don't see it. So I'm kind of in favor of going through that process to clean it up.
I would say 7 months is one thing, 7 years is a whole other ballgame. And it just seems like it goes on. And if we give them more time, will we get any result? I don't think we will. Sarah, what do you have to say?
So, I mean, we have some, obviously, it appears that they are still residing there at some point, whether they're there all the time or not. So, do we have to go through like an eviction process with them too to because obviously we have to let them know that we're gonna come and tear it down on this day, and you better have whatever you want out of there, because, so what's that process like?
Mayor and Council, I can address that. The process, this is actually, and this is probably not what you want to hear, but this is kind of the start of the process. The hazardous building statute that we're using to raise this if we have to, is a state statute, and it provides for an extra layer of due process for the property owner, no doubt about it. So you sign this resolution, but this thing needs to get signed off on by a judge. So how it typically works is this resolution becomes what you would think of as a complaint or a petition in district court, along with the summons. It's personally served on the property owners. We're going to get another chance. Property owners and any lien holders of record. And once it's served, they have 20 days to put in some kind of a response. So once it's served, one of two things can happen. They put in a response, and the response would be like an answer. We disagree, who knows? We disagree that it's hazardous. We disagree that these are the things that need to be fixed, et cetera, et cetera. Or it can be, well, yeah, it's got to be fixed, but this is the timeline we need. So if that happens, so if there's a response, and it gets set on for an actual evidentiary hearing in Anoka County in front of a district court judge, they are supposed to be set on, they're supposed to have priority, these actions. It's not like, when we take a year to litigate this thing. They're supposed to get priority, but I can't assure you that the Anoka court will get it set on really quick. And then there's an evidentiary hearing. We have the burden to show what's in our resolution is true, that it's hazardous, and then they have to come back and say, this is what I want, and the judge is ultimately going to decide on the evidence, and the judge can grant certain remedies, but the most they could do, that a judge could do, is take some extra time to fix it. That's all he or she could do. The other path it could take is if the property owner does not answer. I'm guessing that's likely here. If there's no answer to the filing in district court, then we can get what's called a default, a summary default. I would say that we would wait for the 60 days to pass that we've given in a resolution to fix it. Once that's passed and the extra 20 days to take it down, then we just go to the court and ask for a default. Court signs off on it and we're done. So that's kind of a long explanation to your question, but no, you don't have to do an eviction. You'll have an order of the court that will be very, very specific and recorded on the property as to how the process is going to work. And it's usually fix it or it's coming down. So you need to give a notice of the time for it to come down. And the resolution specifically addresses what we do with all our personal property. You know, they've got X number of days to act. It's their responsibility to bring that personal property, not yours. So, the property owners will have another bite of the apple here if they can convince you or the court that they should get more time to fix it because it is fixable and it's not going to cost more to fix than it's worth, and that they've got the money. But Mayor, I tend to agree with you. I think that probably what it's going to cost to fix this thing. It's a shame to see an old house like this go, but and that's not even saying that I don't know if they've got the money.
The only solution I see for them is to write a letter to this old house and see if they'll take it on, because they do take on old houses, mostly in the northeast of the United States, but they could take an 129-year-old house and bring it back. But that would be a real chance, you have a better chance of winning the Powerball.
And just the general idea that they could find somebody to buy it, sell it to
Well,
somebody.
right now, let me ask you this. Were they notified of the meeting tonight that to come here?
Mayor and Council, correct. They received a certified and mailed letter, correct?
So they knew about this and didn't show up, and I agree with Councilmember Robinson that that kind of sticks in my mind here, that if this is so important to you, this is the time to show up and talk. Kevin, you have something to say?
Yeah, two things. One, just for the record again, can you state who you are and why you're here? You required earlier.
You bet. I'm Karen Kerr, and I'm an attorney out on Business 7, Department of Business 7, and I've been working on this with Gate Shops.
Okay, thank you. And then second of all, if they do come to the hearing portion of this, is there any, they need to have a performance bond or a bond, or what shows their capabilities to the judge that, okay, I'll give you some time here, but don't they have to come with some substance before they get some more latitude?
Yes, that would be very specific to something that the relief that we could request at the evidentiary hearing if it never gets that far. So, but yeah, that's absolutely fair. The other thing I probably should mention that sometimes happens with these hazardous buildings, particularly firehouses. There is a lien holder here. There's actually two. There's a mortgage through Twin Cities TCF, and there's also an attorney's lien, oddly enough. I doubt that the attorney's lien would ever, but sometimes the lenders, if they're worried about their collateral, the house being the part of the collateral being torn out, they can step in on these. As a matter of fact, I've had situations where lenders, usually, especially if there's really not much for equity in the property, they'll step in and preserve what is there.
Well, right now, the only equity is the land.
Right.
Have they been in the chain of communication as well? Has the lender been in the chain?
We're required the notice for this hearing was served on the lender. I wouldn't expect them to appear here.
I understand.
They might appear.
But at least correspond with
Yes,
someone.
and we'll have to serve that. We're required by statute to serve them with a petition. And yeah, they might, who knows, stranger things have happened, they don't step up.
Do you know how long these people were owners of this house?
I don't, not very long before the fire, I believe. I actually think they bought it on foreclosure, oddly enough, from out of a sheriff's sale. And that's why I have no way of knowing what's owed on it, but I can tell you it's not foreclosure, it hasn't gone into foreclosure. That tells me they're making mortgage payments, which is almost odd too. It's the lack of communication here doesn't really comport with continuing to make the mortgage payment.
I was just curious, I think with the human element involved, I think if I was faced in that situation, I was in their shoes, I'm thinking if I'm a long time, I've been in my house 12 years, if it starts on fire, I'm underinsured, whatever, something that I lose that battle.
but your mortgage company's gonna have you full of insurance to cover it.
Well, you should, that's where I'm confused on that whole thing, but that's not us, so.
Let me ask you this then, was any insurance paid to them, or is the insurance company that held back money after the fire?
I can't answer that for sure, but I presume so. Well, I don't know what the lawsuit in district court exactly looked like. I never looked at that file, but my presumption is there was a fight over causation, not of the fire, of course, but causation of the insurance company tore it down, and, you know, there are all kinds of exceptions in insurance coverage related to code changes, ordinance changes. I can just about, I can make some assumptions.
Well, I would imagine he's gonna have to hire a licensed bonded contractor, all the permits required, all the insurance is required. You have to bring it to code. Code is minimum, not, you know, to exceed, he will have to meet minimum codes. And by the time he does this, the 2018 codes will be put into effect in the state this next summer. So he may be more strict or what I have to do. Like I say again, my main concern, council, is 7 years in play. My main concern is the neighborhood around it, and the safety factor for that. If the fire starts again, it could be much more of a hazard of fire, and what's inside that building is basically combustible. It's not helping it. And the structure itself, again, from when I looked at the pictures of the contractor, I don't know who's done work in there, but you're sticking a screwdriver in the mortar, and the mortar's giving away. I mean, to me, it's like, can it be rehab? You could put footings in the ocean. You could build anything. Depends how much money you want to put into it. At this particular point in time, I would think the cost to benefit ratio on this house, this property is pretty much past say. I'd have to say that you're going to put a lot of money in, you're not going to gain anything back. Unless you love the property that much and love the home that much, you want to stay there forever. And that might be something, but for making money on it, you're not going to make any money on it. You'll lose your shirt on this one. And it didn't help to stay empty for 7 years, that rolling's into place and the weather takes its effect. 7 years later, that affects that whole structure. That's why you're getting shifting. They did some structural support when they took out the plaster, but not enough. But you can't just take out the plaster and then slap it, hold it together, and not support it while you redo it. The sheetrock alone won't do it.
I think it was actually kind of surprising when we went out, kind of in this research, when we went out last October, so a year ago. I think everybody expected it to be much worse than it was, but our engineer, same guy that was out in 2012, said, well, you know, it's not a whole lot worse other than it looks more dilapidated. You know, it doesn't.
Well, if you look inside, though, it's bad.
Inhabited, yeah.
You know, structurally, it's bad, but also about the only thing that I see decent between all the structures is the roof.
Yeah.
And even then, some shingles are missing. That's about the only thing I see decent. And those are CertainTeed shingles. They're not the architectural 50-year shingles. So they're old shingles, but they're still workable. But I'm saying that's about the best thing I saw in shape there. So right now, to me, this resolution needs to be passed. So, any other discussion here by council? By the way, this is one of the things I just want to go on record as saying, and I said this before, abatements and things like this is not what I got elected for to do, and I'm sure not council. We don't really want to have to do this, but at the same time, we are the stewards of the taxpayers and the residents and safety of this city. So it falls upon us to make the decision. Again, it's that decision I jumped to make. I wish this person or people would come forward and do the right thing and get this property done and move on. But anyway, so on that, thank you for your time, Karen.
You're welcome.
Do I have a motion tonight to a nuisance abatement Smith/Oriski, 22708 Rummer Boulevard, Resolution 2019-52. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Bauer makes that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Councilmember Robinson makes a second. Any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, moving on to meeting open to the public. Our second one, anybody?
But we still have the fee schedule.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that one. Oh, I wish it done. All right, ordinance 256, second series of amending fee schedule, first reading.
That's next. It'll be
Sorry,
next.
I apologize.
But I thought is that a second reading or is that a first reading?
Sorry, it's first, it's not second. Yeah, I made a mistake on the name.
Well, I know I read it in the packet, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's first.
Okay.
Good catch.
So on the second reading, Do you have anything to say, Kate, on this, or?
First reading.
It's the first reading.
First reading.
So we said the second reading in the packet, did it not?
Yeah.
Packets are on the
The
agenda.
packets are on the
right?
agenda. Okay, now we get this. Okay.
Mayor and council, the fee schedule is something we bring forward every year. This has the updates in regards to either changes in our process, changes in fees due to what we need to run or administer a program. There are changes from several departments in here. I'd be happy to answer questions on the ones from property or building.
Well, I saw that you increased the variance from 1,500 to 2,000, which I think is a good idea because the 1,500 was not covering costs. Most of the time I saw variances out there, they were going more to the $2,000 mark. So this is actually better for people. So they don't have to dip in their pocket afterwards. So they pretty much can be covered by the cost. Would you agree?
Mayor and council, correct. We're trying to get them uniform in regards to the fee schedule and the land use permits, and in addition to being realistic as to what people are going to be charged with our consultants going through this process.
Well, myself, I looked over the numbers and all that. They look pretty good. And it brings us pretty much in line with what we should be having as far as what we're giving out services. So, Joe, you have anything to say on this?
I don't have any questions, like, it's pretty straightforward.
Kevin?
Same, pretty straightforward.
Sarah?
I just had one question about the transient men and peddler fee. So every 60 days they gotta pay $300, or but a food truck is $50 for the whole year? Am I understanding that right? I don't want to fee our youth from doing, pulling events and doing things like that, but $300 every 60 days seems high for city work that needs to contribute to the process of filing that fee.
I can answer that. The fee schedule, or the 60 days, was changed due to our ordinance that went into effect probably about a year and a half ago. They changed it to 60 days. The food truck is not for a whole year. It's dictated by state statute of how many days, and I believe it's 90 days.
But usually, John, we're only there for a couple of weeks, right? Something like that, 2-3 weeks at the most.
My guy was there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's dictated by state statute of how long they can go within the year. But the other one, the transient, was due to the ordinance that we had amended, and that's why it went down to 60 days.
Answer your question?
Yeah, but I still think $300 is a little steep for people. We're talking like people setting up and selling things, or
They're going door to
door to
door.
door. Okay.
Well, the one thing about that, at $300, you get the riffraff out.
That's true.
Well, I'm saying, $300, someone's gonna come with $300, they're gonna be more apt to do the right thing, because it's not, if you go $50, you're gonna get more riffraff to do it, and we gotta protect the residents going door to door, so.
That was my questions.
Okay. All right, well then, anything else, Kate?
No.
Okay. Then, this is ordinance, it'll be a roll call. Do I have a motion to adopt the ordinance 256, second series, amending fee schedule, first reading?
I'll make that one.
Councilman Mewbauer makes that motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Hood makes a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, Barb?
Ludwig,
Aye.
Bauer,
Aye.
Feldman.
Aye.
Mulebauer,
Aye.
Robinson,
Aye.
passed 5-0.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we'll move on to meeting open to the public, second one. Anybody?
No one, no.
All signed up.
Sean Davis, 24310 Riverbank. I had a question about the ordinance compliance. Like when somebody lodges a complaint, we have for the first, I guess, notification, is there a fee right away?
No.
How long, and they have how long to fix it?
So Mayor and Council, so when we receive a complaint, we go out and do an inspection. If we find that the property is in violation, you get an administrative notice. So the first notice goes out, and it's based on a reasonable time frame to get the actions cleaned up. If it was something simple, move 2 tires out of the driveway, it would be a fairly short turnaround. the time can't exceed 10 days. At that point, we would schedule another inspection. If it's not corrected by that second inspection, then the first citation would go out. Again, it's within a time frame based on what it is and then also with the ordinance itself.
Okay, so people do have an opportunity to fix it without paying anything, basically?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just to let you know, our purpose is not to fine. We don't make revenue off fines. We make revenue off growth. You know, so the reason the fines are in place is only to get someone's notice to get the actual thing remedied. Some people can cover costs, but some people just take a lot longer to get a remedy. We would prefer it being done quickly and not fining.
So I wanted to make sure.
Thanks. Typically too, before the meeting, there's a sign up sheet on that table, and then if you come late, it's usually at the end of the table too, for the second open to the public.
Sorry.
Just say no.
Well, no, we're glad you came. If you want to come up
Just
to
for the
speak.
future.
May I? Well, yeah, you can say.
I'm not the name of the word at all.
Oh, no, I don't care what language.
Well, state your name and address. You're about to sign up.
David Jones at 24455 Rivergate Lane. I was part of the Kings Highway pavement issue you guys have been with all summer. From the day that I saw the culverts coming in, I started asking questions about my property, and I had, throughout the whole process, I haven't gotten an answer, and I haven't gotten a solution, and I've got what's left, I would consider 2 hazards left on my property.
2 have what?
Hazards left on my property. And I would ask if any of the city council would like to come out and see it. I think you need to see it, and have me explain it, to really see what's going on. I live at the top of the hill, and the culvert was put in my driveway rather than just putting a little bit of curb. I wouldn't be able to hold 200 feet, would have been just up the driveway. Little background, I'm a design engineer for an engineering company. I've done civil profiles and stuff, so I have an idea of what could have been done. I'm not an engineer, so, and I don't know all the reasons why things were done. But what ended up is I had a berm that's almost 2 feet high on that side of the driveway. And all the watershed I had issues with, there were none. I had no watershed issues. Everything flowed away from my yard.
Because you were on the high ground.
I'm on the high ground.
So everything you had went down to Shelley and Mike's and Mac and Nancy Blood's house.
And that's not part of the issue.
Okay.
That's not, I can understand, well, there is some things that still need to be fixed in that. But what we're talking about is on the other side of the driveway, okay? Where a ditch was put in, a ditch and a culvert never was needed. The only thing that would have been needed would have been a little berm on the back of the ditch between mine and Mike's house. That would have allowed the water to continue to flow to the holding area and be filtered and that sort of stuff. That's understandable, that issue. So that's not part of this. There's other things, and you don't need to know all of it, but I got to the point where I could not get into my backyard anymore because the road went down to the ditch and went way up the berm. And I've even just going back there over the summer trying to get a boat or a trailer out of my backyard. I've broken a piece of my trailer. Something I can fix. It's only a few bucks, I'm sure. I can fix it. I don't have access to my yard anymore. That's not the hazard. I'll get to the hazard. So my driveway, my garage door is a foot above what used to be the existing road. And I had a foot slope. I designed my own house, I drew the plans, the city accepted it, we had it built. I had it built. So I know I did all this in engineering. I made sure that I had a flow going around my house. I made sure that everything was good. And I had the berm that went across my driveway, and I cut through the berm with the slope that went onto the road. And when I got to the road, it was level, and I left it dirt there, because I had always figured there's a good big apron put in. Why the concrete there is a dirt road, you know. Now, they brought in new base, they put in a culvert, and the culvert's not even the reason for this, but they raised the road at the top of the hill, almost a foot. So now my road goes down into my driveway, in between the berm, and my driveway comes down in between the berm, and the water sits there. From November to March, there'll be an ice rink. I have a picture of one of the last big rains we had. It rained all day, probably about a month ago now. I can show you that picture of how much water was retained. And I kept pointing this stuff out. I kept talking to Stuart, site foreman, I talked to, I can't remember his name, the site engineer, I talked to James, the city engineer.
Craig Yogan, right there.
Craig, is James the site?
Shane?
He was the site engineer. And I kept being told, it's gonna be taken care of, we're looking at it, we're doing this, and I still had water retention on my pipe. That's the first hazard. The second hazard is the part of my driveway that they cut out that was sloping, when it sloped past the berm, so the berm would have been the walls on the other side pulling in. That was cut out, and the apron was cut back into that at the opposite angle. I still have a piece of that driveway in my ditch. I can show you, because it wasn't cleaned up. I have some cable that's been wrapped up and thrown in another part of my yard. And the worst of it is, I've got that hunk of 2-watt or larger electrical conduit sticking out of the ground, 8 to 10 inches, that some kids even impale themselves on if they're playing on the sides of the day. It is not complete. It is not done right. And I really would invite, please, come on, take a look at it. I believe you have, Mr. Bowler.
I've been out there many times.
And it's not done. And
Craig,
I'm asking
can you
as a
address any
city
of this?
council, please look at this.
Yeah, I guess I didn't know the issues were that bad. Again, something, like you said, it's not finished, but there were some things changed and revised. I guess I did not know you weren't happy with them. It's something we could address in the spring, but of course, we can't address all your concerns right now.
The other thing that was done is when the culvert was put in on the side of the driveway that is covered by sheds, the ditch was so steep that you understood, you couldn't mow it, you couldn't block it, you couldn't do anything with it, and no answer would have been made a retaining wall. Because if it would have been left that way, I can show you the erosion that was happening before seed grass was put in. It would have just washed out to the roots of my oak tree and killed my oak trees. So the answer to that, and I'm sorry, it's not, was to extend the culvert out further.
But we did discuss this. The city has quite a bit of more property and 10-foot easement that we could have made a better ditch. We put in the culvert to not touch your trees.
Come on, and ask you if that's what you want to do with your yard.
Well, I can tell you that, it seems like to me, I mean, I understand you got some problems here, and I think there's some temporaries we can do until the summer comes, where we can actually work on this in the springtime. The pipe extensions out of the ground, we could probably do something with that. Can we sandbag to divert, put some sandbags in areas to divert the runoff while it's in winter time to melt time?
I'm sorry, but it's not driveway, you keep saying.
Well, yeah, I can tell you, it's what's amazing to me is all these property owners after you had all these problems for a long, long time that came to us. You were up here, they were down here. You're on the high ground, they got all the runoff from you. Now all of a sudden, you're a problem and they're not. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
A project that was supposed to solve that for everybody created it for me.
And by the way, all that rain, by the way, the erosion control was ever going to take with 4 inches of rain in that amount of time. That's why we have to come back in springtime, and the contractor is well aware they'll have to come back and make that right. So that will all be done in springtime. It can't be done, of course, now. Seeding won't take place now. It's too late.
Please understand this, that a winter of an ice rink at the end of my driveway, the in-laws that are in their 60s, and brothers that are in their 60s and stuff, I'm not billing my home insurance pay for that.
All right. So, Craig, what can we do temporarily?
Absolutely, have to take a look at it.
All right. We'll take a look at it. Okay?
For now, if you had a cone or something, I could put over that conduit. I could make sure it's my kids.
Well, Craig will take a look at it. Take care of it. We'll look at the pipe.
We can get that cut.
We'll
We
get that cut.
don't have a lot of control over the small utilities. We stay on to try and get their items complete. But if it's a dead conduit, we can do
I don't
something
want to
about
touch it, I don't know that.
Well,
I knew that, I could.
we'll check it out.
Can I get your address numbers?
24455 River Lake Lane. I'll give you my phone number if you want to meet me out there.
I've talked to you a couple times on the phone.
651-247-4045. That is a work phone number. That's not my own phone number. That's my company's phone. So you just have that. Just, if you leave me a message, I'll get the message. Just let me know if you see me.
He's on the left side of Shelley and Mike's. When you go right to the T, Shelley and Mike, he's on that side.
Okay.
Nancy and Mike Blood on the right side.
What's your availability typically through the week?
I just got one now, and it's really, so I typically reach early morning, kids go out to school by 7. If I go in Boston at the time, then I might be a little later. In the morning, I can bring a flood out here tonight if you guys want me to look at it.
I actually think the best way to do it would be to get the engineer out there along with some of the council members if they want to go out there and see it.
Can you give a timeline, Mayor? I'm curious. May I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
When was your last communication with anybody, whether it's a site supervisor or Craig?
I have it written down.
10 days ago, 20 days ago?
No, it's been more than a month because the project was finished and honestly it was so.
And no one's communicated back with you since then about your concerns?
Nobody's told me this is the answer, other than the culvert extension thing that was told to me.
All right. And then if we could give some time, not we, but can you have a certain timeline and say, we'll take care of it? Is that in 2 days, 2 hours, 2 weeks? Craig?
I'm gonna first look at it to see what.
Well,
That's what I mean.
When are you gonna be out there?
First, I gotta understand all the issues that you have, and then have to look at it.
Right, but you realize the project is not complete today. The whole project is not complete today.
I've already got a bill.
I understand that, that's the assessment part, but the project is not complete till spring, until the erosion control and some of the other things that have issued from the runoff of the rain depleted some of the curb areas and stuff like that, right, Craig? Some of these things have to be done as summer comes, and the contractor's fully aware of that. We've notified everybody about that in writing.
I think the issue to resolve right now is going to require some more grading.
Sure.
Downhill into the extended, I think that, and then that's going to be receded and all that stuff, I'm sure. So, and there will be erosion because without that grassing in there before, there was erosion. So I don't know what can be fixed now and then prevent erosion until next.
Well, nothing can be fixed now, obviously. I mean, it's past growing season, so we know that. But the fact of it is that it was notified to all the residents there that this is going to be remedied come springtime. I mean, I know the contractor did plan on all that rain in that short period of time. And I'm sure he has the headaches of having to deal with it down the future, but he will take care of it.
Okay, thank you. My last comment is, why at the top of the hill did you have to raise the road? You put in more base, but why did you dig all the bad base? Why not keep the road elevation where it was before? I have proof. I took a laser level out there and I made measurements. I know when my driveway goes down. I know how flat it was down.
Well, you brought it to our attention, now you have to give us some time to look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. May I say something, Mayor?
Yes, please.
I just, we've had another resident, the gentleman there, was here a couple weeks ago, and I just want people to feel that, to me, I get a sense of adversarial action when people are here asking an honest question about an honest project that happened. So please don't go away mad, and we don't mean to come off the way we do. I guess I won't speak for everybody, but the project had to be done. But again, people come with general concerns, and we have to convey the message that we are generally concerned in return, not get wound up and tightened up. But I feel that when people come and address the problem, that's not the way we run the show here, as far as you've done it so far, Mayor, and I just want to state that.
Well, I can only say thank you for bringing it to our attention, and we're going to address it. We're not going to run away from it, that's for sure.
I have had a different experience with some of the information. I've been told that I'm that impatient. I waited 3 weeks to figure out when to get my first response for somebody. 3 weeks I worked on this. And then I was told I was being impatient by somebody who kept interrupting me. I'm sorry, but I've had
No, I understand your frustrations. I'm trying to express the same. That it's usually calm, collected here, and sometimes during this project, it's been tenuous from long before some of us were even in office here. So I can appreciate your frustration, and as they promised, they will take a peek at it. If not, we're here and we have open ears.
The smartest thing you did was come here. Tonight.
I went in here a few weeks ago, but work schedule and everything else.
Well,
So I'm really.
but the smartest thing you did was come here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else, Barb? Okay. Now we're gonna move on to, department reports. Paul?
Mayor and council, in your packets tonight for your consideration is our October reports for Public Works. October's a busy month, a lot of transition from summer activities to preparing for winter activities, so we're, always looking at getting our roads kind of prepped and staying on so that we can be prepared for freeze. We did get ahead of that a little bit this year, or this fall here, as things started freezing up a little bit earlier than expected, but getting out there and getting things graded and taken care of before that freeze is always important. The other challenge at that time was the amount of rain that we were getting, so that always adds to our frustration. But we did get out and do our street sweeping, got that taken care of. Motor grader was back out again today, just in case anybody saw it. But a lot of still mowing and prepping of our parks for the winter, so the grass continued to grow for us, but still trying to keep that mowed, and then also picking up leaves as they were falling off. In our water and sewer, definitely a lot of the important things to see are the removals that are happening at our wastewater plant and our water plant of the constituents that we're constantly trying to abate. Definitely the facilities are working well, so we did process 102 locates for that month, which tells us that contractors were busy trying to get things done and wrapped up before freeze up for that as well. Mayor, you always point out our rereads. For October, we were down to 22. The water meter replacement program, as of the end of October, we had 800 completed. Just looking at the report today, as of noon, we had 351 meters left unscheduled to be changed out.
So are we halfway through with the meters right now?
We are almost 75%.
Oh, really? Because what's the total amount of meters? That was 1,600.
1730.
And you have 800 some done?
We have only 351 remaining.
Oh, really?
As of noon today, that are not scheduled.
So you've done almost, well, just under 1,400, something like that. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. By the way, I've seen no plugging issues, by the way. That's always a rarity, but.
That's probably the first one.
Yeah. That doesn't hold true for November. Just it's a spoiler alert. Sorry.
Don't
Pictures to come.
But yeah, the completing the inspection of District 4, that took quite a bit of time. A lot of good information gathered from that. So with that, I'll answer any questions council may have.
Well, I don't have any questions. The report looks good. Like I say again, I'm always happy to see no plugging issues and that. Meter reads are low, so it shows that we're going the right direction, which I like. The fact that I didn't realize that you were that close to being done with the meter, so you won't make it by Thanksgiving, or will they? Which is what we were hoping. Right?
I'm not sure. The last meters are always going to be the challenging ones. Is what
But still, will be done by December, I would think.
I believe our substantial completion date was the 3rd week in December. So
We should make that. Great. Okay. Robbie, anything to say?
Great report. I did see some equipment over on the Oak Grove side, on the east side. Is that ready to be connected, or will that be connected in the spring now because of the frost, or?
Mayor, council, that is connected.
They're flowing.
They are flowing to
I
us.
missed last meeting, sorry.
And they paid us the $50,000.
Perfect.
By the way, one question on that, by the way, this is, unless you're done.
Oh, I'm done.
Okay. One question on that, are we seeing any difference in the volume, of course, or anything that the bugs can't handle, or
We have noticed no significant changes.
none? And it's been flowing for a week or two right now, or more?
I can't remember the specific date, I would say at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I think.
October 30th.
The 30th?
Yeah,
Thursday.
Yeah. When they give us a check.
31st.
31st was Thursday.
So you've had, with 18 days of flow, you're not seeing any difference? Well, that's good, very good.
Yeah.
Sarah, anything to say?
Another great report, thanks, Paul.
I have nothing.
Okay, Kevin?
A very good report. Also, is there any way we can get some advertising on the wooden lath? I think we could make some sponsorship or some extra money there for the city projects. But you see them popping around like popsicles out there now. But, no, very good report, thank you.
Say, I have one question to you, Paul, which has nothing to do with this, but one issue I talked to you about before. On the park designation times on that Delwood Park, remember that Officer Hearns brought to our attention?
Yes.
Have we done anything, are we doing anything with that, or?
Mayor and council, there already was a sign posted at that park with the address on it. And so we just are putting a hour sign.
All right, so you are doing that?
Hours.
Okay. Ty, can you let Lyle know that then?
Sure.
Because that was the last, only park he said was a holdout. So we'll get that. So that way the officers have some remedy. If someone's past those hours, like 10 p.m., they go there at 11 p.m., that sign will show they have some recourse. Kind of like a no trespassing sign, type of thing like that. So that brought to my attention. So thank you very much. All right, on that, I will go to council member reports, and I'll start with Sarah.
On November 7th, we had a community ed advisory board meeting. We had Hope for Youth and Foster One came in and talked to us a little bit. Some interesting numbers. Foster One told us that in Minnesota we have 15,000 kids needing foster care, and just in Anoka County alone, there's 600. We don't have nearly enough foster parents or foster homes for these kids, so they're trying to reach out. I won't say too much. I did go to the Lions Turkey Triathlon on November 9th, and I also went to Peter and the Starcatcher at the St. Francis High School yesterday.
Okay, Rob?
I also joined Sarah at Turkey Bowling, that's what I called it, hosted by the Lions and the Legion. It was a great turnout, it was very fun and enjoyable, and a lot of kids, and bingo later on for the adults. But I want to say Breakfast with the Santa is December the 8th at the Legion, and it starts at 9 a.m. Also coming up, more holiday events, the Gathering of Friends, which I went to probably my 3rd year. It's very, very fun. It's on December the 14th. And that's pretty much all I have. Thanks for not throwing any rags in the sewer system. Oh, and Gathering of Friends is from 6 to 9 p.m.
Where's that?
The location has not been determined yet, according to the website.
Okay. Joe?
We have the tree lighting coming up on Wednesday, 6:30, I believe it is.
It's at 6.
Is that
Or
6?
6:30, yes. 6:30 is when the choir will start singing for us, yes.
Okay. And then the other thing I have is on the 21st, the County Fire Prevention Council coming up. So hopefully we get our budgets in order, if we get enough elected officials there.
Wait, we'll be there. Yeah, 2 for sure. Okay, Kevin?
I also attended the Lions, made it to the last part of the bingo and donated to the cause. It was really fun. It was packed. People had a lot of fun there. It was good to see the community come together on a chill evening. Also, I want to send not congrats, but our appreciation to the first responders. Nixel chimed the other day and got some information of an unfortunate situation that I'm sure our police and fire, I know our fire for sure was involved in police as well, but Nixle does work, and if I can ask the chief, how is Nixle, do we know what subscriptions are up to now?
Let's see, I checked probably 3 weeks ago and we were right around 1,100.
That's awesome, because I know almost a year ago it was like 743.
Yeah, it's been consistently growing every month.
That's great.
That's awesome. Well, again, they do a yeoman's job. I had a gentleman, I don't know his name, unfortunately. He sat across from me at the turkey bingo, and his beep pager went off. He got up and he left, and his family was there, and he goes, "See you, Dad." And he went, and he was gone for about an hour and 15 minutes. He came back, and it looked like he, I said, "Did you have to suit up?" He goes, "Yeah, I did," but he didn't go into any detail. But that's what happens. I mean, these guys, they drop it, and they go, they do it, they come back, and they resume their lives. So whether you're in blue or black uniforms, fire or police, I thank you, and the community thanks you. That's all I have.
Okay. Well, I want to remind everybody that the city offices will be closed on November 28th and 29th for Thanksgiving. I want to ask everybody to please drive carefully to your destinations. Be safe, be careful, enjoy your family outings and time together with your family, but do it safely. Drink responsibly if you're going to drink. Have someone drive who's not drinking. Be smart, please. These off-week memos we get as council and read them out to people that are still DUIs and 2 or 3 times the legal limits just blow me away after the 3 years of reading this stuff here. And Todd tells me those are the worst ones, not the, it's amazing to me. But anyway, also, I want to say that on the meters, if you have any questions on the meters, I put on my Facebook page, St. Francis Post about it. It was in the off-week memo. I condensed some stuff off of that and posted it there. We had 2,313 people respond to that post. Amazing to me. But if you have questions about it, what you need to do is call the city or call Paul or anyone at Public Works, that during his work hours. And I'll answer any questions you have about it. But the meters are fully encrypted. They're done through Amazon Web Services. It's all protected. And just to let everybody know, on the meter you have a dial. The dial is analog. The analog cannot be hacked. Correct, Paul?
Correct.
All we're doing is meter reading digital. So that when someone drives by, you will change the meter, whether it be the whole meter and the top part, or just the top part, depending on how new your meter is. But the transmitter on the outside will be changed. So when they drive by, Connexus does this, most cities have been doing this for 20 years. We're just catching up. This is nothing new here. But there's no encryption. There's no way we're going to pad the bills, as I've been accused of or questioned about, and we're going to pad the bills. It's a dial. 100 gallons flows through that meter, 100 gallons is what you get charged for. 1,000 goes through it, 1,000 is what you get charged for. It's analog, not digital. Cannot be hacked. So, on that, I'll also bring up about, I had some person go on to St. Francis, what's happening in St. Francis, and state asked some question here about the last fire call, that we used 16,000 gallons of water, and wanted to know if the city was going to get paid for that or bill. I talked to Dave Schmidt about this, our fire chief, and he told me that it's pretty much, we use their water, they use our water, it's an emergency, and paid for, just given to them. Is that correct? So there's,
We don't bill for fire.
we don't bill for fire, it's an emergency.
We need to account for the water that's used, so we do collect that information, and that is reported to the DNR and the Department of Health.
Right.
So that is all just accountability.
Right. Just accountability, but at the same time, it's used because if we're in their city or some other water source we need, we get the same advantage. Okay. Just wanted to go on record, whoever posted that, and so that you understand that when it comes to emergencies, that stuff is not paid for. It's given fully. Okay. And once again about the meters, please, if you have any questions on anything, the best thing you can do is call the city hall. We get an answer. This gentleman here that came here tonight, and I'm glad he came. Wish he would have come earlier. Riverbank has not been an easy subject for us. It's been over 18 to 20 months in the making. No matter what we do, it seems like we can't make everybody happy, but it's just amazing to me that what was there on the high end, now the lower end, now the high ground is the low ground. But we will rectify the problem. Once the problem's been given to us, we will rectify it, look into it, for sure. I can appreciate him coming to us, and that's a good thing. It just shows that if you spend less time on the keyboard and more time coming to talk to us, you may actually get something done. I would say that. I would say also enjoy your holiday, and the holidays that come here with Christmas coming right around the corner. Seems like the longest season we had was winter. Spring and fall, I don't know where fall went, it shows like the whole summer went, but I do know the winter's here right now. So please drive careful. It gets dark out early. And be safe for Thanksgiving, enjoy your family and the meals and everything else, and don't fill up too much on turkey. Any other business that we have to contend with? All right, in that case, I will adjourn this meeting at 7:20. Thank you.